Good afternoon. My name is Alexander Gorbatko. It's Information Technologies City of Moscow, Deputy Director. So it's the main infrastructural department in charge of development of electronic services in Moscow for both development of digitalization of authorities, of state authorities, and to create comfortable space for investments of IT companies in Moscow, and also to create a big number of information services among our partners for all the citizens and residents of Moscow, and certainly those who visit Moscow, both for work and for leisure. I'm proud to mention that Moscow is one of the global leaders in digitalization of services. And Moscow got a lot of prizes and awards internationally by the quality and speed of implementation of new technologies. And what we can see now in Moscow, and we can see the trend of use and expectations of our Muscovites, younger Muscovites, the number of services growing. More than 95% smartphones, the number growing, big number of devices connected to the networks using in homes, and the number is growing too. And so new and new services like banking, deliveries, different services, and consumption is growing year on year. A lot of things that we ask of Muscovites as to what their expectations of development of the city. And you can see the trends of expectations according to the Muscovites. They are expecting the arrival of those technologies, and we have to change the business processes and invest a lot of money, and together with partners to change the landscape of Moscow, infrastructural landscapes to develop the services. We always say that we are launching 5G, but what is it all? Well, it's not any service is not an abstract thing. It's an infrastructure on which different integrated services or operators are developing on. And we discuss it among ourselves in the development of networks, or we have more and more wires, and we have to, and base stations, the speed and density increasing. So, and we can see the change of the landscape of basic infrastructure in the city. In Moscow and near Moscow, we have more than 7,500 of underground communications for infrastructures of all operators and all houses in Moscow. Of course, it was built in the past according to the basic principles of creation of those networks. Central basic stations in the districts, and the cable utilities underground was, of course, based on the obsolete technologies. Moscow now, and our department, is actively working at that. For us to be able to change this basic approach, to create infrastructure not based on the cable facilities and deploying any operator investing in the city, because reviewing the investments, of course, we expect creating new services and the basic demand satisfied both for the businesses and the citizens. But if we impose all the investments on the operators, I think that especially heavy infrastructure, I think we should do it ourselves. So problems in the city, of course, it's a lack of basic infrastructure. Unfortunately, we don't have industrial scheme of development of the structure of network in Moscow, which is actively being created at the moment, and further operations and development of infrastructure. It is very heavy, difficult, and expensive. But we are not marking time. We are piloting a big number of novelties in Moscow. and we normatively we have simplified the procedures of deploying the infrastructure and permissions to construct, to build. And now we have single window to develop both construction complex and operate mobile operators. And putting down and laying down those principles, we in the future can have a very fast and simple build-up of any networks in Moscow. So what does it mean to create urban infrastructure? We have a smart standard where we take into account the current and prospective technologies and the demand and the requirement of such technologies in the development of the megapolis, realizing the demand and understanding what kind of demand we have. We initially put down into the construction general plans the heavy underground infrastructure the infrastructure closer to the homes of residents. It's inter-district and inter-business communications. And now we have even construction of any house which should be equipped with all the elements which will be in need in the future by mobile operators. We thus increase the speed of penetration in the city of any service at any speed. Now in Moscow, any house or building, any apartment in Moscow has an opportunity to select among the operators. They all do have fiber, and the competition is very high now. And that's our objective to develop a competition for the private business to invest. The smart standard that I mentioned reflects the main engineering solutions. And the description of those services which in the nearest future might crop up. Those are not written in stone structure. It is changing, and we are a connecting point between mobile operators and service companies and construction sector, which is developing in Moscow. Certainly, the benefits for the operators, it's a basic readiness of the basic infrastructure for the development of the technology. Our plans in Moscow to create such a service, well, a 5-year horizon of planning for us. And of course, construction of a big number of new facilities, including them into the general plan of creating linear networks. And you know that we now constructing smaller basic stations, but we have very many of them now. In Moscow, it's about 70,000 of them in Moscow. And we will need more than 200,000 in the future of different equipment in the territory of our city. Well, that's briefly as to where Moscow is going. Of course, I think now we are going to listen to how the service is developing in the infrastructure. Thank you.